All right, welcome back, guys. So in this one we are going to build an internet connection detector. Okay, but before then I realized that in the previous lecture I did not add media queries, okay, to the project. Okay, so I'm going to do that like on my own. Okay, but in this one we're going to build an internet connection status detector. Okay, so let me quickly show you what that is. So currently I have my internet connected. Okay, so you see that it says my internet connection status, I'm online, connection looks good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect, right? So I'll just come here and I'll disconnect. So you see, so it automatically detects that I have disconnected from the internet. Okay, so basically you may probably be aware of the navigator.online, navigator.offline function to create this, but actually that is very unreliable. So let's just start and I would show you. So first off, okay, so this is our file. So I'm just going to copy this my templates, right? I would paste it in one more time, and then I would change this to project 2, and I would say okay, so internet connection status, I want everything to be single word. All right, so that's basically what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to just open this up in, that's not what I wanted to do, so let me close that. I want to open it up with my code editor, so I'll git bash here. Okay, so let me just bring that in. Yeah, so this is what we have. So but let me just pause this video for a minute, and let me remind you that if you have not hit the like button on this video, I want you to do that now. I want you to pause the video and take a second to hit the like button, and if you've not subscribed, I want you to subscribe to my channel. Okay, so please do that. It encourages me and it will help me to keep making videos like this. Okay, and even if you downloaded this video and you have it on your computer, I want you to go and find me on YouTube, Xenotrust Tutorials, and I want you to subscribe and I want you to hit the like button on this video. Thank you so much, and let's continue. All right, so basically there's a common way this is done, right? And that is, so what I'm going to do is, for this I'm going to create a file and I'm going to just say test file, right? I'll just say test.html. okay, so the common way this is done is you use the navigator.online and navigator.offline function. Okay, so maybe what I'll do is, to make things fast, right, I'm going to do the first one, the original one, which I want to do in this tutorial. Okay, and then I'll then show you the navigator.online and offline function and why it is unreliable. Okay, so because I just really want to be fast with this one, I don't want to waste more than 15 minutes on this. Okay, all right, so let me just drag this down and let me just let's get work. So I would minimize this. Yeah, so basically I'm going to, so we don't need this guy here. So basically I'm going to just open this with live server. Okay, so we have our hello world, everything looks nice. So basically what I'm going to do here now is I'm just going to add a very short markup. So I'll just add a section with an ID of main, and I'm just going to add a div with a class of container, and basically I'll add an image. Okay, and for now I've not copied the images, so I'll come back and do that. But I actually want to leave the image blank, so I'll just give it an ID So I'll say ID, and this ID is just going to be image, right? And then let's just add a h1 tag that will say internet connection status. So I can just probably copy this text here and just paste it in. Okay, and I'll just add a paragraph below it. This paragraph is going to have a class of status, and it's also going to have an ID of status. Okay, so it's going to be an empty paragraph, but for now I'll just say pending inside and I'll save. Okay, so let's see what we have. Yeah, so basically this is just what we have, very small file. So let's add some styles. So I'll open my styles.css, and remember we have some predefined styles already, so we're just going to do some modification. So what I'll do is, let's just come down here and we'll start here. So first off, I'll just target this section. So I'll see section. I'm not quite comfortable, let me adjust. I'll see section, and first off, let's start by giving this a background color, right? We're going to use our variable color, and we're going to say black, right? And so let me save that. Okay, and we're going to give this a height. So I'll just say 100 VH, 100% of the viewport height. I'll save that. Okay, so this is black here, right? And I want it to be white so that we can see what we're doing. So forgive me, I'll just come down here and see section and h1, and I'll give it a color of white. So that's white, and save. Okay, so we can see how things are moving around. Okay, well, since I'm at the h1, I may as well finish it up. So I'll just give it a font size of 3 rem, and I'll give it a font weight of 700, I think, maybe 600. Okay, and then I'll do the same for my section and paragraph. So I'll give it a color of white. Okay, and a font size of 2 rem. So 2 rem, and save. Okay, yeah, so whatever I do in my section tab is going to make sense because the colors contrast. So I'll give it 100 VH, right? And let's do display flex, and boom. Okay, then let's do let's justify content to center. Let's align items to center as well. Let's save that. Okay, so that puts everything in the middle. Okay, let's also do text align. What did I just do? So text hyphen align, and I'll set it to center as well. Okay, then let's set some styles for when everything is online. Okay, so basically I'm just going to give it for when I have internet connection status. I want the background color to be blue, so it's actually a light blue color. So that's the variable. Okay, so basically that's it. Okay, and then I'm going to add some images. Okay, I'm going to use JavaScript to change the image sources depending on if the internet connection is on or off. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll say section and image. Okay, and I'll give it a width of 25%, and I'll give it a border radius. So border radius of 10 rem, so just to make it round. And I think that's it for our styles. Okay, so now that we have these styles, I'm going to do the common method. That's the navigator.online, navigator.offline function that you probably are aware about. Okay, so basically I'll just go to my index HTML, right? I would highlight this, I'll copy it, and I'll paste it inside of my test HTML and save. Okay, I probably should change the title to internet test. So I'll just say internet test. Okay, and then I'll open it up with live server so we can see the difference. So this is just internet test and this is just document. So so let's see the first method, right? And for the first method, I'm just going to add my JavaScript here because I don't want to put that in my script.js, so I can get rid of this source. Okay, and so basically the way it's done is you start by using the windows object. So you say window dot add event listener. Okay, and then you use the load event. So I'll say load. In other words, when the page opens up, right, and then you add an event. Okay, so I'm going to create a variable. So I'll say const equals, the name of the variable is going to be status display, right? And it's going to be equals to, I'm going to get the status here. So this p, right? I'm going to get this p here. So I would say document dot get element by id, and the id I'm looking for is status. Okay, and then I can close that up. So basically you then say something like status display dot text content, right? And you set it to equal to navigator dot online. So we are saying that if the navigator is online, right, we want to make the text content online. Okay, else we want to make it offline. Okay, so you can go ahead and close that up and save. Okay, so let me just explain what I just did here. So basically I said that first off I added an event listener to the window object, okay, which is a global object. And then I said that I created a variable for that got this p tag, okay, that has an id of status and the text is pending. And then I said that I use the navigator.online method to say that if the user is connected to the internet, I want to display online, and if not, I want to display offline. Okay, and as you probably noticed, the text immediately changed to online. Okay, so basically that's you're just going to have to do this for the offline and stuff like that. So I can simply just copy all of this and just modify it. I'll paste that in. Okay, so I'll say windows.add event listener, and I'll say offline. Okay, and I'll just leave this id here. Okay, I should probably put it outside and access it, but then this is just for demonstration purposes. And then I'll say status.text content, right? And I'll simply just say it equals to offline. So I'll just delete all of this. Okay, and then I would copy this guy one more time. So this first one is when the window object opens up or when the page loads. This is for when it's offline, right? And this is for when it's online. Okay, so here I'll just say online. Okay, and I'll see status dot text content, and I'll change this to online, and I'll save. Okay, So basically, if I come here and I disconnect, I should get the offline message, right? So I'm still even getting the online message, but I think there's another way I can do this. I can inspect and I can use the, I think it's the application tab, and in the application tab we have a service worker. So let me just drag that out. Okay, so this is the service worker here, and we can select offline. Okay, so you see that when I click on the offline tab here, it changes to offline. Okay, so basically that's it. But the problem is with this, so I'm going to come here, right? I'll connect back. Okay, so if I do this, it changes back to online. So I just want you to watch the page, and if I come here, it changes back to offline. But the problem with this is that if I'm right currently, there's an active internet connection. So let me just do Google. You see that this is an active internet connection. If I'm connected to any other network that is not necessarily, internet based, I will still get this function working. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll just bring down my out maybe turn on my hotspots, okay, that doesn't have any internet connection. I would come here and I'll disconnect from this guy here, right? And I will then connect to another network with no internet connection, right? So let that just connect. Oh, that's taking some time. Okay, so it's connected. Good. Now, so just to show you that there is no internet network here, I'll do google.com, and as you can see, it says site cannot be reached, so there's no internet. But watch what happens. If I disconnect this service worker, it will say online. So boom, it says online. So you see why this is not reliable. Despite the fact that there is no internet connection, this is just the network, right? It still detects the connection as online. So how do we do a workaround around this problem? That's what I'm going to show you now. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and maybe I'll leave this open, but I'll come to our original documents and let's minimize. Okay, so I would index HTML, the original, and let's go to our script.js. Okay, so we're going to add the script that will do a workaround for that problem. Okay, it's about, all right, so the first thing we're going to do is let's add some variables. And the first one, we're going to say const, and we're going to add a variable for the image, which is equals to document and get element ID. Ouch, that's not what we want. Get element by ID, and we're going to get the image ID. So image, and then we're just going to duplicate this to get some other things. So this one, I'm going to get the status display, but I've already done that, so I may just copy that variable here. So this is status display, and I'll copy that and I'll just paste it in. Okay, and then the last one, I'm going to get the background color. So I also want to change the color of the background when, so this one, I'm going to get the main, that's the section itself. Okay, so let's add a okay, we're going to come back to create a function. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to fetch something, right, from like an external server. So it can be an image you have on your server, really, and we're going to try to fetch that. And if we can access the internet, so we will need internet connection to perform the fetch operation. If that happens, then we know for sure that the internet connection is active. So I'll say async and I'll add a function, right? And this function is going to be connection status. So that's the function. And we're going to use the try catch block. So I'll say try. Okay, and inside the try catch block, I'm going to create a variable. So I'll say const, and this variable is going to be fetch results. And it's going to say await fetch. So I'll see, what do I want to fetch now? I want to fetch a URL. So I'm just going to get a Wikipedia image. Okay, so let me just get a link for a Wikipedia image, and just a minute, .png. Yeah, so I got the link. I'll just paste that in here. Right, so this is just a random image on Wikipedia. Okay, like I said, you can do this on your it can be an image on your site, preferably is a 1 pixel image. Okay, now for this image I'm fetching from Wikipedia, if you just fetch an image from like your server or any server, it's gonna cache that image, and by caching the image would always be accessible because it will be on your browser cookie or something like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to fetch the image and the current date. Okay, so the way we do that is I'll just say here, right here. Okay, I would say, so this is image.png, right? I'll then say and time, right? And then I'm going to add, so I'll say time equals, and then I'll just add the current time function. So I would say, I would open a bracket, and then I'll say new date, and then that's the new date method, and then I'll say dot get time. So dot get time, and that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so we can close this. So basically what we're just doing is we're fetching this image with the current dates and time. Okay, or basically the current time. That's what we're doing. Okay, so to make sure that the image is current and currently refreshed and it doesn't cache on your computer or your browser. So that's what we just did here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the image source. So I'll say image.src, right? And I'm going to set it to, so it's at this point that I'll need to get the images. So basically the images I'm going to use will be this image here, right? So I should probably connect back to the internet. So let me just connect. All right, so I'm connected back to the internet. So this should change to internet connection status in 3, 2, 1. All right, so yeah. So let me just quickly get the image, and I would put them inside of the image folder. All right, so I've copied the image and I'll just put them inside of this folder. Yeah, so these are the images we're going to use online and offline. Okay, so I can minimize this. So I'm going to set the image source if this is possible, if this fetch operation is possible. I'm going to set the image source to images / online.png. Okay, and then I'm going to change the background color. So I'll just say, I'll call a function set color, and I'll just call, I'll call that function. So this set color function, I haven't created it yet. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll come here and I'll create the function for changing the background color. So I would say function, the function is going to be set color, and let's just do, so we're going to say bg color, this one we have here. So bg color dot class list. So we're going to add a class to so class list.add, and let me just show you the class we're trying to add. So we're trying to add this class of online, right? So background color, you see we've changed it to light blue here. That's what basically what we are doing. So we're going to add that class list, and we're just going to say online. Okay, so that's it. That's the function. So we'll call the function here, right? And there's one more thing we need to do. So we're going to, so remember we're performing a fetch operation, right? And basically we want to say, let's return something. So basically I will return fetch results, okay, which is this guy we have here, dot status. And I'll say that if it's greater than or equals to 200, so that's when the internet connection is active. And if the fetch results dot status is less than 300, so I can just copy this guy here and paste that in, and here I'll just say if it's less than 300. Don't worry, I'll explain what I'm doing here. Okay, so basically your internet connection status is active when you have, okay, I think there's something wrong with how I wrote this code. So return fetch results dot status, oh, not dollar, and, so this should be and. Okay, so basically we know that you have internet connection if this operation, you can perform this operation and the status of this operation is between 200 and 300. Okay, we know that your internet connection is active. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a catch block here. So I would say catch for if the operation fails, right? What do we want to do? So we'll say we'll throw an error, and basically I can just set the status display. So I'll say status, or maybe I should do console.log first. So I'll say console.log, and I'll just log the error. Okay, and so let's just see. I'll control save that. All right, so I'm actually not done. So let me just finish up. So let me comment this out first. So I would say status display dot text content, and I'll set it to equals to, oops. So basically I can just, oh, I can't get that. I'll just say oops, your internet connection is down. All right, so that's basically what I'm going to do, and then we can close that. And then we're going to change the image source. So I'll just copy this guy and I'll paste that in, and I'll change it to offline. And then we're also going to change the background color. So I'll say bg color dot class list dot remove. So we're going to remove the online class, and that's it. Okay, so let me save that. So but basically also we need to monitor the connection. So let me just open with live server. So we've not started picking the connection status yet. So basically we need to monitor the internet connection, right? And to do that, we're going to use the set interval method. So, but let me just make sure that there is no error in what I just did. Okay, so everything looks fine here. All right, so basically I'll just come down here and I'll add a comment and say monitor the connection, and then I'll say set interval, open a bracket and say async. So here let's create a const, a variable, and this variable is going to be result, and it's going to be equals to, so let's do await and connection status. And then we're going to say that we're going to add an if else statement. So we're going to say if result, we want to do status display dot text content and set it to you are online. So you your online connection looks good. So let me just add a comma and say okay. And then we're going to call the set color function. So set color. Okay. So but if we're going to add this set interval, we want it to, let's just make it let's set a timing of 5 seconds. So that's the 5,000 I'm adding here. Okay, but definitely you may want to make this a little bit longer, okay, so that it doesn't overload your server. So I'll then say check connection when the page loads. So check connection when the page loads. Okay, and this is where I'll add the Windows event listener. So I'll say window dot add event listener, and it's going to be my load event. So let's say add a comma here and events. Okay, so we're going to say that if, sorry, that should be in here. So we're going to say that if connection status so we're going to call the connector status function inside of this. Now what do we want to do? We want to change the status display. So I can just copy this guy here, right, and I'll paste it here, and I'll just change it to you are online. Okay, this is because I want us to see the difference for when this occurs and when this takes over. Okay, so it says you are online. So this is to monitor the connection, right? This is to check the connection when you load the page. Okay, so you're online. Okay, and then I would add an else statement. So else, I will say status display. So let me just grab this guy here and I'll paste that in, and then I'll change it to you are offline. Okay, so you see I've saved it now, and initially it says you are on. So let me do that again. So initially it says you are online. That's because it's the windows.load event that is firing that you are online. But then this function here to monitor the connection, so this should be connection, then takes over after this interval. So after 5 seconds, this function here, or this set interval method here, starts to monitor the internet connection. Okay, so what happens is if I come here, right, and I disconnect, give it 5 seconds, and you see that it immediately tells me that my connection is down. Okay, so basically that's how you can, and the event that happened with the other one doesn't happen with this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to that my other network just to show you. Okay, so let me connect to my other network. I'm turning on my hotspot now. Let's see, and come on. Okay, so my other network is here, so let me just quickly connect and I will show you that there is a difference. Okay, so it says here that internet connection is down despite me being connected to this network. Now mind you, there's no internet connection, it's just a blank network. So I would say google.com, and as you can see, there's no internet connection, right? But this picks it up, right? This new method I just did, unlike this other one that is still saying the connection is online. That's the navigator.online method I used. It still says the connection is online here. Okay, so I'm connected, but there's no internet. But this new method I just showed you picked it up. Okay, so that's actually the difference between both methods. So let me connect back to my internet. And just give it 5 seconds and see what happens here. All right, so you see that it automatically detects the connection and says your online connection looks good. So basically that's what we that's basically, I know the lecture took a bit longer than I thought it would. That's because I wanted to show you the difference between the two methods. Okay, using the navigator.online function and then using this one I just showed you. Okay, so basically that's how it's different. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this one, and I'm going to take a quick break, get something to eat, and we're going to continue on the third project. All right, so thank you so much, and just see you in a few minutes.